Okay, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good afternoon to everyone.
Salam.
Just for your information, the session is being recorded just now. We still have another six more students that have not joined our session today. So please remind your other friends. Right, maybe I'll be a bit slow today. I'm currently having a bad headache now, right? But I'll try to deliver my best. Okay, before we start our session, let us recite Al-Fatiha. Okay, so thank you very much for those who have joined for today's session. So today is the 24th of Ramadan. We do have another couple of more days before we leave the holy and blessed month. And we do hope that next year we will have the opportunity to meet Ramadan again, inshallah. Right. So today we'll be doing our fourth lab session. Okay, and then I will be sharing previous semester's test paper. Okay, before I'll be briefing you guys on the mini project. Right. Hopefully everyone is in good health today. So I've just uploaded the lab sheet for the session today, and also if you do notice, I've just recently uploaded and produced a new channel, a mini project channel in the MS Teams. You can look into the mini project and look into files. So in the files, okay, there is basically 3 attachments there. Okay, that is related to your mini project, and I've also uploaded the mini project requirements in future that I've told you earlier this week. Okay, can we start the session today?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. The response. Okay, so today we'll be continuing our fourth lab session. Right. How's your previous lab sessions progressing? I assume that you have maybe finished lab 1 and lab 2 maybe. Lab 3 is maybe still progressing, hopefully, right? So next week will be your midterm break and our Hari Raya Idul Fitri break, right? So this week 6, and then after Hari Raya will be your first test. That will be on week 7. Right, and then week 8 basically will be finishing our last lab session, okay, the 5th lab session, before I'll be giving you guys another 2 weeks to compile everything and submit me the final lab report that consists of the 5 equipments. Okay, that will be on week 10, okay, end of week 10, inshallah. All right, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the response. Right, so as previous lab session, okay, basically what we are going to look today is another equipment, okay, that is being used and also that is available at the ergonomic laboratory, okay, at the school. Right, so today we'll look into a device and equipment, okay, that is being used to measure your grip strength, right, your hands grip strength. So this is normally being used for to measure and assess, okay, how strong is your grip, okay, sometimes for pre and post, okay, physiotherapy and also rehabilitation sessions, okay, and also maybe to design, okay, a product that requires the human grip strength. Right, so I'll just go through the introduction. Okay, so the brief introduction about this equipment is that it is basically being used to test your the measurement in left and also right hands, right? So normally if you are or if you are a left-handed person, so normally both hands, okay, between your left and also your right hand it will have different hand grip strength, right? So this is because of your handedness and also due to your muscle buildup. Right. So any type of hand trauma or dysfunction can be assessed with the help of this device too, right? So hand trauma means that if you do have any injuries on your hand, okay, then you require any physiotherapy, you require any rehabilitation. So this is where the physiotherapists, okay, the doctors, the nurse, or the attendants will measure your hand grip strength, okay, before you do any exercise, any physiotherapy or any rehabilitation. Okay, and then they will measure again after you have conducted all these exercise regimes and whatnot, okay, to see whether you have improved or not. Okay, so theoretically, okay, you should improve because all these exercises, all these physiotherapy regimes, okay, basically builds up back your muscles, okay, and you will get your hand grip strength back. Right. So the effectiveness of treatment can be judged during the period of recovery, right? So modern dynamometers come equipped with features like a digital display. What you are going to see today, the demonstration by Tuan Haji Abdul Alimina, is basically a manual, a mechanical hand dynamometer, okay, that is available at the laboratory. So nowadays everything is being digitized, so mostly the readings are being digital, and there will maybe be new hand anemometers whereby from the digital you can somehow collect the readings, the measurements, okay, due to the IoT revolution now. So those data could be um, stored in a cloud database, okay, for further analysis. So there are many types of dynamometers. Okay, so dynamometers is basically the dynamometer itself. Okay, is basically a set of equipment to test the strength, okay, of part of your body regions. But what we are looking today is only for the hand, for the hand dynamometer. So beside the hand, we do have the strain gauge dynamometer or push pull, okay, hydraulic gauge dynamometer, and also dynamic dynamometer. Right. So these devices could measure besides the arm. Okay, you can also measure the back, your leg, okay, and also several other physical performance. So how does the dynamometer measures your strength? So it is basically measuring the force being applied to the lever, okay, or by pulling the cable that is attached to the lever. So the measurement, okay, that is in terms of moment of force, is determined by multiplying the two quantities, okay, between the force, the distance, and also the axis, right? So this is where it is a very simple equipment, okay, but it gives you some measurements, some readings of how strong is your hands and some part of the other body regions. So the objectives of this hand dynamometer is basically to conduct a hypothetical or theoretical lab work as the previous first, second, and third lab session. All right, and it is also for you to study all the components, okay, and functions of the complete system. And for doing this lab, okay, you should be able to use the portable hand anemometer, and you should be able to analyze and draw conclusions. Right. So it is basically the same objective but different equipment. So these are some of the hand dynamometer that are available. Okay, the three dynamometers here are mechanical, okay, manual dynamometers, and we do have a digital dynamometer here, this one, right? So this is where these dynamometers are basically trying to measure your hand in terms of the hand dynamometer. Okay, the procedure and also the lab report requirements is the same as the previous first, second, and third lab session. Okay, so basically you are required to search for 5 references at least. Okay, I do believe that you will be having more than 5. Okay, more than 5. Okay, but I hope I don't see those students having less than 5. Okay, so please do read the instructions carefully. Right, so basically all these references are for your reference, okay, for your data collection, okay, for your results, right, and also for you to discuss and compare those results that you obtain, okay, from the journals, okay, from your resources, okay, so that you can discuss and conclude solid conclusion, okay, what you have found, what you have learned from that's this respective lab session. There's a com check here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes. Maybe those who have joined, just joined now. Welcome to the class. I apologize for being a bit slow today, okay, because I'm having quite a bad headache now. Okay, so I'll just try to deliver my best and hold up for this session today. Right. So the lab report requirements here, basically 1 to 5 is basically for you to compile your final lab report, right? But for the main body of the report is basically the same, right? So please make sure when you introduce your equipment, okay, please make sure you don't copy and paste from the resources. Try to make your own wordings and also your own sentences. Right, so as usual, as the previous first, second, third lab sessions, okay, so these are the requirements that is mandatory to be in your contents for every lab equipment, right? So for the proper steps to use the equipment, 6B there, right? I would like to advise and suggest you, okay, if you are using, let's say, hand anemometer, okay, from let's say Lafayette, okay, maybe you would like to use the same hand anemometer for the introduction part, okay, so that there's some continuation there, okay, and you could somehow relate maybe part 6B and also part 6A, right, in terms of the name, in terms of the model, and so in terms of the picture. Okay, but for the 6C, as usual, a minimum 2 case study. Okay, the more is more welcome. Okay, so that you can compare more. Okay, more scenarios, more conditions. Okay, so you can have more than 2, but the minimum is 2, right? And basically for C and D, right, and also E, well, you don't. It is not necessary for you to have the same hand anemometer that is being discussed in part A and B. But if you do have, let's say, secara kebetulan you do have those case study are using the same type of hand anemometer that you are introducing in part A and so part B, 6A and 6B, so it's okay. Okay, but if it is not the same, it is not necessarily, basically, it is not necessary to be the same, right? So just report what are the hand anemometer being used, okay, what are the equipments, okay, being used in your case studies. The important thing is that where that particular research or experiment is being conducted, so this is where you need to discuss that and inform that in 6C as usual. And then you include all the results and data that you have found or gained from these two case studies before you make some discussions by comparing the results. Okay, create comments on the results. Okay, of what have you learned, right? And finally, you draw a conclusion, okay, of your findings. And then the references. So please make sure, okay, minimum of 5 references. Please make sure your references are being cross-referred in your report accordingly. Please make sure on that, right? And these are the rubrics, the same report rubrics. So you should be in this area here, okay, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, right? So for me, again, just a reminder for you guys, satisfactory for me is like when you see something, you say, okay lah, right? So that is satisfactory, okay lah. So having not to explain your pictures, having not to explain your figures or whatnot, just put the picture there and then just leave it like that. So you will get below than 5. Okay, so when should you submit your compile mini project? Is basically tentatively on end of week 10 because we'll be having your first test on week 7. Okay, your last or final lab session on week 8, And then after week 8, I'm giving you another 2 more weeks, okay, to complete your report. So you need to upload, basically upload your submission is via turning in, upload it in turning in, one group, only one compiled report, okay, and the report submission, the first report is basically the final submission, so you cannot amend your report if when you upload your turning in your report, somehow you see that the similarity index is exceeding the 30% threshold. Right? Am I clear on that?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, so this is the cover page. So please make sure the cover page here, okay, is being filled accordingly, okay, by having the number of students, okay, reflecting which equipment that he or she is doing, right? So let's say you are doing the second equipment, so your name should be on the second row here, right? And these will be marks, okay, for your reports based on these assessment criteria. Right? Any questions on this? Okay, so I do believe until now you do have some idea of how to do your labs, right? Because basically it is the same except that the equipment is different. Okay, I'll be so this is the mini project channel here. So you look into files. Okay, I've just uploaded it just now, 12 minutes ago, right? So you can download the requirements after this. Okay, after I give you the briefing. So continuing on the video demonstration that is being provided by Tuan Haji Abdul Alamina. So let's look into this video. So I need to share it again with audio. Right. So can you hear this?
Baik, peralatan yang
Can.
Okay, right. So let's watch this very brief video of the hand dynamometer, okay, for your further reference.
yang kita akan gunakan untuk sesi latihan makmal di makmal ergonomik adalah hand dynamometer. Alat ini merupakan jenis mechanical sepenuhnya, iaitu tidak ada device elektronik, ya. Peralatan ini boleh mengukur daripada 0 hingga 100 kilogram ataupun 0 hingga 100 pound. Bermakna ada dua ukuran yang kita boleh tukar, iaitu dalam kilogram dan juga dalam unit pound. Peralatan ini diperolehi pada tahun 2006. Agak lama juga. Mungkin sekarang ni ada peralatan-peralatan yang lebih sesuai dengan keadaan semasa lah. Namun begitu, peralatan ini masih relevan untuk digunakan. Harga perolehan waktu itu adalah sebanyak RM1,850. Baik, dari segi fungsi, alat ini adalah digunakan untuk mengukur kekuatan otot tangan orang berdasarkan kepada situasi seperti tahap kesihatan dia, aktiviti seseorang dan juga jenis, iaitu sama ada lelaki ataupun perempuan, di mana kita boleh membuat perbandingan antara keadaan-keadaan tersebut.
Okay, so that was the short briefing. Okay, it is being obtained basically since 2006. Where were you in 2006? Standard 3, is it?
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
So basically that is the video demonstration by Tuan Haji Abdul Halim. All right, so hopefully you could complete your what call that, your lab reports. Okay, don't wait until the last minute. Okay, we've already completed 3, so this is the 4th. So hopefully, I do assume that the first and second lab report is already completed. Number 3 is maybe along the pipeline. So after this, maybe those who are responsible to complete the 4th lab report will somehow start to do it after this. Okay, any questions on the lab report?
No, sir.
Okay, right. So if we don't have any questions, I would like to just give you an overview of your first test, right? Basically, this is last semester's test 1. Okay, can you see the test question? Right, so I'll be sharing this test question in your WhatsApp after this. Right, so this is last November's test 1 for previous semester. Right, so basically your test will be a 2-hour test. So for this semester, it is going to be scheduled on Wednesday, 19th of May, if I'm not mistaken, okay, during the morning session, right? So these are the instructions. The instructions are basically the same as other tests that you have gone through before, right? So please make sure you fill up all the integrity declaration form, right? And in this test, okay, and also in the first test that we are going to sit in week 7 in the test week, is consisting of 5 questions there, right? I'll be giving you the turning in class ID and also enrollment key for you to upload your answer sheets, after the test. Right, so basically we'll start a bit early, okay, just to give you some time to download the test questions, to prepare all the filling up all the forms and whatnot, right, before you start your test, okay, for 2 hours. And then after completing your test, okay, you will be given, okay, a couple of more minutes, okay, to upload your answer sheets, right? So please pay attention to the submission, okay, please pay attention to the submission, okay, whereby you need to upload, okay, your test is basically you are required to type your answer sheets using Microsoft Word, right? And then when it comes to submission, okay, you need to convert or save as that Word file into PDF, and that PDF you need to upload it in Turnitin and the original Microsoft Word, okay, format .doc or .docx. You are required to upload it or turn the Word file in MS Teams. So the platform for your first test will be using MS Teams. I'll get an assignment for your first test from that particular particular assignment, and then you need to upload or turn in back your Word file. Remember, Word file in MS Teams and PDF file in Turnitin. All right. The most important thing for you to remember here, to make sure that you don't exceed the 30% threshold of the similarity index, is to make sure that you don't copy the questions into your answer file, your answer sheets, right? Am I clear on that?
Clear.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Several after the past 2 ODL semesters, I found that even though we do remind yourself so that you don't copy the questions, but there will be a few students that copy the questions. This will cause your index similarity percentage to increase more than 30%, right? So I think for this semester, if this happens, I'll just deduct the percentage, okay, of index that exceeds the 30%, okay, because it reflects that you don't follow the instructions correctly, right? So it is quite tiring having to give instructions, but still students, I'm not sure if you are, maybe you are not aware of it, maybe you didn't came to class when the briefing was conducted. However, for the test, we do remind students again and again about this, okay, but still there will be. So if this happens again for this semester, the third time of ODL, so I think I will just deduct to make things simpler and life much more easier. Okay, so I'll just deduct the extra percentage of index. Okay, if it is being caused by the question that is being copied into the answer sheets. Okay, so basically there will be 5 questions here. So question 1, 2, and 3 is basically going to test you guys on the fundamentals, and also question 4 and 5 is basically testing you a bit more higher in the Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, so the answers should be much more longer or detailed. Okay. If you look at the suggested time, question 1, 2, and 3 is only for 20 minutes, and question 4 and 5 is basically for 30 minutes, right? So length of answer, this is just a guideline. If you do exceed, there will be no penalty there. Don't worry about that, but this is just for your guideline so that you could fit the 20 minutes of time allocated, right? So these are same instructions that you do have in other tests of other subject. So you need to write. Please make sure you need to write. Okay, the Microsoft using Microsoft Word. Okay, before you save that particular Word file in PDF, so that you can upload it internally. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so talking about your turning in. Okay, so the threshold is 30%. That is the only the only way for us to filter your answers, whether it is genuine from you guys or it is being copied and pasted from other resources. So I would like to remind yourself, right, not only for this subject but for all other subjects. Okay, during ODL, it is very, very hard for us to monitor all these plagiarism and whatnot, right? We do believe, and we do hope, that all of you do not, do all these nonsense, right? But if there are, or if there is any student, right, doing all this, so it will penalize your marks, right? It will penalize your marks. Okay, so for you to avoid, your index relative to be more than 30%, just try to answer the questions, with your own words. Okay, treat the test, treat not only MEM634 but also for other tests, that you will sit, on in the test week. Okay, just treat the test, like a face-to-face test, right? But because of ODL, you have the privilege, you have the advantage to refer to any references. Okay, so if you do refer to these references, you do not copy and paste your answers directly, right? The second one is that please do not use any third-party platforms, for you to translate or reword. Okay, translate is one thing. Translate will make the sentence going to be much more haywire, or rewording will also make your sentences much more complex, for me or for the panels, for your lecturers to assess to mark your answer sheets, right? Because if you do use Google Translate, for example, football, if you use Google Translate, you translate it into Malay language, what do you get? Football, direct translate, what do you get?
Soccer.
You don't use soccer, you will get kaki bola. Direct translation from English football to Malay. Football, what is foot? Kaki. Ball is bola. You get kaki bola, right? So if you reword, football, you will get soccer, right? So again, do not use any third-party platform. If you reword it, you will somehow jumble and mix up the sentences, and again, you will cause your lectures problems to digest what is what you are trying to convey basically in your answers. So please try to answer it by yourself, right? And the third one, please do not use any third-party platform, okay, for you to gain answers, okay, because we have that previous semester. So the answers, okay, that is included in your answer sheet is way much more high level or much more powerful, the sentences compared to the answer scheme, right? It is a level of professors, level of knowledge answers, right? Because there is a platform, okay, for you to get answers, right? So please do not cheat, please do not do all this, okay? That's why it is very hard for us to control all this. So what we could do is that we just hope that turning in helps us to filter out your index community, and also we put trust, okay, future to be engineers, okay, ethicals, okay, and again we are looking for the barakah of the knowledge, okay. And so not having good marks or having high marks, okay, but at the end of the day you are cheating. Okay, is that clear? Am I clear on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so these are the questions. Okay, so please make sure when you answer the question, look at the marks for this is last semester. So if you look here in question 1, we have another distribution of another 4 questions here, right? So altogether will contribute 10 marks, right? But for this semester, each question will only have question 1A and also 1B. Okay, right? And just for your information, right? Maybe your answers are correct. In general, it is correct. Right? But if you are not relating your answers with respect to the ergonomic principles, or the answers are too general, won't get marks for that, right? So we are looking only for accurate answers, students that do not ask the questions, okay, accordingly, okay. We are asking about something else, so the student is answering something else, right? It doesn't the answers doesn't what do you call that, answers the questions, right? So please read, right? Please read the questions carefully, right? So like here in your own words, explain, so you will be asked to explain, to justify, to describe, right? So basically, do not put any one word or two words, okay, answers, one word or two wording answers, right? It must be, if let's say the marks is 2, so at least you need to have two sentences, at least two sentences, 2 full sentences, okay. And these 2 full sentences, okay, basically describe or explain about 2 points there, right? So just put that in mind. 1 mark, basically 1 full sentences describing 1 point, okay. Right, unless it is being stated in the question, like question 1B here, it is asking for give 2 examples of any discipline or profession. Discipline or profession, you just name it. You don't need to put a sentence there. All right. So you can see the mark there is only 1 mark. All right. So this is where you can somehow conclude that 2 examples give 1 mark. So 1 example gives 0.5 mark. Right, and it is because only you just state what is the profession, doctor, engineer, or the discipline engineering, medical, right? So this is where it suits the 0.5 mark, okay, distribution for that particular question. Am I clear on that?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So please make sure that you do read the questions carefully. Okay, and you don't have a physical test question, right? So normally when you do have physical test question, I do see some proactive students that bring a highlighter that highlights what basically the question needs, what is the question is asking, so that they don't misunderstood the question and answer it wrongly. So this is question number 1, and we do have question number 2, right? And question number 3. Okay, so this is where you will be asked for the knowledge on ergonomics, right? And normally question number 4 and question number 5, okay, you will be asked to explain something or to justify something, okay, whereby you can see the Bloom's taxonomy is much more higher, C6, right? C6 here. So this is where we do require you to give your own opinions, your own answers with regards to the questions. Right? Any questions for the test? No?
Sir.
Yes?
I just want to make sure that to answer the questions, so we don't need to repeat the. Sometimes at the question they will
The question,
say, for example, the question 1 before. Can I see it again?
Question 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay, question 1.
The question A.
Okay.
So we don't need to answer by human factor and ergonomic must be considered in many discipline and profession because. So we don't need to do the front sentence.
Yes. You don't need to. It is not required for you to
just write the answer.
Just answers. Yes, answers because of blah 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 blah, so on and so forth. Right. So here, if you look here, explain. Explain means that you need to put in full answers, full sentence. So 2 marks. So at least 2 points there. So 2 marks, 2 points, and 2 sentences. Two full sentences. Right. Is that clear?
Yes.
Right. Any more other questions? Okay. If you are required to draw something, maybe you're required to draw something, or you need to include any figures or whatnot. Okay, you can just put it. If you're required to draw something, you can draw it in any piece of paper, and then just snapshot that paper and then include that photo into your answer sheet in the Word file. Right. Anything must be in the Word file. This must be typewritten except for figures or any sketch or any drawings. Right. And then you need to save it in PDF for you to upload it in Turnitin, and the original file you need to upload it in MS Teams. Okay, for your it is for backup purpose. Right. So normally I'll just download the test questions from the Turnitin because I need to look into your index similarity. Right. Any others?
Sir.
Yes.
For the question, it's examples such as the B questions.
Okay.
We just need it. We just need to write it in a 1 and 2, or we just.
This one, question B, is it?
Yes.
Okay. So discipline and profession. Okay. Look at the mark. 1 mark. So one example, 0.5. So 0.5 because it is a discipline or profession, right? So if you ask someone, what is your profession? What will you answer? I'm a student. Right. So just 1 word or 2 words. That is allowed, right? But if the question is justify, okay, explain. So this must be in full sentences. Okay, justify. Right. Look at the marks distributed. Okay, so it's 5. Okay. Right. Explain. These are all explanations that requires full sentences. Right. Okay. So
We don't need to do that.
full sentence, is it?
So the two examples will be in a one sentence.
No, no one sentence. Just you can just put a bullet form, 1 and 2.
Okay, sir.
Okay, look at the marks also. Look at the marks, right? So, but for your test, this test 1, okay, the marks will not be shared. You will be having only question 1A, 5 marks, 1B, 5 marks. Okay, but you need to read the question in it. So in the question, somehow you can reflect, okay, how many points you need to put it in there, okay, and somehow relate with the marks. Basically, 1 mark, they say 5 marks, okay, 5 marks, right? So if you look at this question here, okay, was ergonomics ever considered in humans' daily life since the ancient times, before the term ergonomics was first introduced? So justify your answer by giving 2 relevant answers, examples. All right, so justify 2 relevant. So this is 2 marks each, so 4, and answering this, okay, is the 5th mark, right? So same as let's say 2C here, right? Is we're referring to any frontliner scenario, explain how this is to occur and suggest a quick remedy to help them perform their task efficiently, right? So means that, okay, referring to any scenario, so you are trying to relate any scenario, okay, and then explain how this is to occur and suggest a quick remedy. A quick remedy, what does that mean? How many remedies? One, right? At least one, right? So 1 is enough, right? So this one, it will be having 1 point there, right? But referring to any frontliner scenario, so this is what frontliner, what is the scenario? So that gives you another 2 points there. So altogether 3 marks. Is that okay? Am I clear on that?
Put an extra point.
Well, if the question asks, give 2 examples, but you give 4, normally I will cut the other extra 2 first before I evaluate the first 2. That's my normal practice, right? So you don't macam it's like me when I'm marking. It's like, oh, pilih jawapan yang betul, right? It's not like that lah. Okay, if I require you to put 3, you put 5, I will only assess the first 3. If the first 3 is wrong and the last 2 is correct, so you will get 0 marks lah. Okay, is that clear?
Clear.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough, because why? Because that's the practice lah. If you try to do 2, you have 2, so you give 2. But if all 5s are correct, I will still use the first 3. Okay, if you are going to give 3 answers like that. Okay. Any more questions? Okay, so you don't have any questions. I would like to okay, I'll just share this in the WhatsApp group. Wait, okay, I'm going to share the test, okay, in the WhatsApp group, okay, just for you to have a look at the questions. Okay. Wait, okay, it's already in the WhatsApp, so you can download the file, okay, after this. Right. Can we have a 5 minutes break for a while? Before that, after that, I'll be giving you a briefing on your mini project, okay, but the briefing will be in the mini project channel. Is that okay? There's only 25, okay, 24. Okay. There's another 6 students here. Okay, I'm not sure why they are not here anymore. I'm not sure why there's and the 6 here not absent today, right? Please help to reach them out. Okay. I do have a very bad headache today. I was thinking of to postpone the session, but then I need to replace it again, right? So just bear with the pain. Okay, so I don't see why you are unable to attend the session. Right, so let's have a 5-minute break. So we'll get back at 3 o'clock. I'll end the meeting here. Okay, so after this, please join the meeting in the mini project channel, yeah, for me to brief you guys on your mini project. All right, so see you guys at 3 o'clock. Thank you very much.
All right, sir.
Right.
Give you some prescriptions, okay, of the medicines, right? But if you show the symptoms of very severe pain, very severe symptoms of disease and whatnot, what normally they will do? They will refer you to a specialist, right? To a specialist whereby, yes, they can be put Dr. Pakar, whereby they will do a lot more diagnostic procedure kan. Dia akan buat MRI ke, dia akan scan ke, macam-macam, right? Ambil darah dan sebagainya, right? So this is what initial era is like. So initial era is like seeing the MO at the clinic, but if there's some symptom, if there's any hazard or risk that requires you to do an advanced ergonomic risk assessment, so this is where you make a report, give to the company, or you need to conduct an advanced era. Okay, advanced era like this. Okay, conduct advanced era. Okay, after you conduct the advanced era, this is where you prepare the report. And normally in advanced era, this is where the doctor, this is where you will suggest what are the interventions. Okay, like the doctor just now. Okay, for example, I had a knee injury, ACL tear, ligament tear on my left foot. So after the match, okay, the football match, I injured my knee. I went to the doctor, okay, a normal physician, okay, MO, and then he said, "Oh, this is normal, right? So just give you some painkiller and then some heat balm, okay, and then you go back." So that is the initial era, initial assessment, okay. So there's not more risk, so you can just give what is required. But after some time, it starts to get worse. The pain starts to increase, right? So I was referred to a orthopedic surgeon. So this is where he had assessed. Okay, you have a ligament tear, right? So this is the only 10% ligament that is only present. Okay, currently. So I do suggest you do a much more we call that much more advanced diagnostic, okay, using the scope and also doing an ACL reconstruction. So this is the same thing, right? So referring back to the task here, okay, so for the sake of your mini project, this is where you do suggest what are the interventions that has been taken or what are the interventions that you would like to suggest. Okay, so this is what student D or the fourth student needs to do. Okay, is that clear? So the intervention suggested is only for the sake of the mini project, but in actual initial era practice, okay, you do not suggest any interventions. You only suggest whether, okay, let's look at page 33. You only suggest whether that particular company, that particular workplace requires to do an advanced era or not. Okay, see, after assessing all the risk factors, okay, looking into the total score, the minimum and whatnot, these are the results, these are the numbers. Okay, and then this is where, if looking at the minimum requirement, if it exceeds the minimum requirement, okay, you can put here whether you need that workplace requires to do an advanced era. So using an advanced era, you will be using a very specific ergonomic assessment tool, like Ruler, Weber, Rela, Okra, and whatnot. Okay, so all of them are here in this guideline here, right? So this is some of the assessment tools, ergonomic risk assessment tools, okay, that are available. Okay, so we'll look into the ergonomic risk assessment tools in chapter 3, if I'm not mistaken. Right. Okay, so what is the final student? As for the final student, this is where the final student, okay, needs to include what are the costs, approximate costs for that particular company, okay, or for that particular workstation to overcome the ergonomic issues. Okay, so you need to include the cost. Okay, what are the costs of practicing the proper ergonomic design principles that you have suggested for the facilities, and compare with the cost of downtime, repair, rectification, compensation, and whatnot. Right. So where can you get all these calculations? You can just refer it from the internet. Okay, labor hours, okay, overhead cost and whatnot. Right. So it is just an approximation. Okay, so this is where you can include. Okay, whether if you can see here what are the steps taken. Okay, so means that the company has taken that step. Okay, for example, most of the I'm stretching my back. Most of the workers are having back pain, right? So what the company did was investing in ergonomics chair. Okay, so what ergonomic chair costs about 2,500. So they have 10 personnel there. So they have invested 25,000 on the ergonomic chair alone. Okay, what else? So this is where you report what they have taken. But if there's no interventions and you suggest the interventions, so right here, steps taken to avoid repeat occurrences, or what are the interventions that you suggest, so you could also do the calculations here. Okay, is that clear?
Clear, sir.
Okay, right, thank you for the
Yes,
response.
yes.
Am I lagging?
No.
Okay, right. These are the 5 contents. Okay, 5 contents. Okay, so this is the what do you call this? This is the format, okay, of your report. Okay, so your contents will be main body here, H, right? So same as your lab report. Okay, you do have the cover page, table contents, whatnot. So the main body here is where your individual marks will be, right? And for the discussion and conclusion, right, this is where you need number 4. Okay, the project group should produce only one initial error form, only one. Okay, the main aim of this mini project is for you to conduct an initial error at the workplace, right? But you do not assess the whole company. Do remember this, you do not assess the whole company or the whole workplace. What do you assess? You assess only one workstation. Okay, so looking at this table 3.15 and at page 33, page 33, this one, you need to produce this table here. You need to include this table in your discussion, okay? And you need to state which workstation, okay? You have included this, right? Okay, you have shown all the workstations or whatnot, the figures or whatnot of the issues. So just select one workstation that you think has the most highest risk, okay, at that workplace, and then you conduct the initial error. So for only one selected workstation. Okay, but if you like to assess, let's say some groups are a bit more proactive, they assess 3 workstations. So they will be having how many tables? How many initial error forms do you have? Yes, 3 initial error, right? 3 initial error form. Okay, because maybe they would like to compare from these 3 initial error, only 1 or only 2 workplace that requires advanced error. But how about the other one? The other one do not portray any high risk, and these are some of the suggestions that you can make to improve the safety, right? So looking back at this, okay, so only one, please make sure only one, at least one selected workstation, and then you need to conduct the initial error. Okay, so this is where you need to refer to topic C, which workstation. Okay, and this is where in your discussion you need to discuss about your workstation that you have conducted the initial error, and conclude whether it requires advanced error or not, and maybe what are the tools, maybe what are the tools, ergonomic assessment tools that is appropriate for you to do the advanced error. Okay. Right, so these are the instructions, normal instructions, need to include all those figures, drawings, and whatnot, and everything must be must be explained accordingly. Okay, so besides the mini project report, okay, the writings and whatnot, so you need to produce a presentation, okay, video presentation. This mini project will consist of 30% of your total marks. So 20% comes from your mini project report, and another 10% comes from your presentation video and video presentation. So these are the guidelines. So please make sure it does not exceed 10 minutes. Okay, not exceed 10 minutes. So one student, one person only has only 2 minutes of presentation time. If you do have any video, you do have any montage or anything that you would like to include besides your presentation, it must be within that 10 minutes. Okay, and then what do? You do not put it in YouTube, okay, just save it into your Google Drive and you just email me your Google Drive link. Am I clear on that?
Clear, sir.
Yes.
Clear, sir.
Then when you email me the Google Drive link, what you should put in the email? What should you put in the email?
Name.
Yes, please make sure.
Name.
Yes, you email me accordingly. You don't put, sometimes I do get emails with no title, no subject, just the file and then that's it, nothing to do. So please email me accordingly, because why, this is also a training for you guys to email HRs and you want to apply for works and whatnot, right? So please email, you can look and see how to email people properly. You need to put the subject, put the headings, okay, put the greetings, and very good morning. Okay, dear sir, please kindly find the attached link, okay, for your further perusal. Okay, your high consideration or your assistance in this matter is kindly appreciated. Best regards, Helmi Rashid. Your contact number, something like that, right? You do not email me with a blank email. If you do this, it will affect your marks. Is that clear?
Clear.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
right. So besides your email, so you do require to make minutes of meeting. Okay, minutes of meeting. Okay, for your mini project. So this minutes of meeting should be included in your mini project report in the appendix section. When you do have appendix in your report, what do you do? What are you required to do when you have appendix in your report? One, guys, my headache is getting a bit much more painful now. What do you do when you do have an appendix in your report?
Compile.
What do you do?
Declare
You declare, you cross-refer the appendix in the text, in the early chapters, in the early descriptions. You do not put appendix as it is, and then there's no cross-referencing. I don't know what it is. All right. So if you do this, this will also affect your marks, right? So these are the project assessment rubrics, right? So the contents will be much more higher, 50% for every person, right? So your format organization is very, very important here, and also your referencing and also your citation. So this is your presentation rubrics again, right? So your presentation materials, key figure, tables and charts, and also your presentations. Your presentation again is a formal presentation. Although it is recorded, we do not do any face-to-face, but you must be properly attired. Okay, the presentation venue must be appropriate, right? You do not have a background with all your clothes and the bag and whatnot, right? Just treat your presentation like you are having an online interview for a job position, right? So you don't show your background with all those clothes and whatnot, right? And then when you are recording, means that you can record it again and again. So please make sure you don't have all these background noise. Okay, sometimes you can hear the motorcycles, the bus and whatnot. So try to avoid. Try to minimize. Maybe there will be sometimes kadang ada dengar ayam berkokok lah kat belakang, right? So what to do sometimes, I know it is ODL, but try to minimize all these noises. Okay, so this is the cover page. Okay, the cover page, make sure when you do have this cover, so to your task for your mini project. Okay, these are your marks. Okay, and this is the second template. Okay, for your presentation should be included as the second page. Right, so sekarang tak jumpa saya second page ni, right? So no second page. This, so you don't get any marks for your presentation, right? Because I'll be only filling this. And this is the minutes of meeting, okay, for your mini project. Okay, so inshallah after week 8, so week 9 and above, or starting from today onwards, okay, anytime you conduct meeting, okay, please fill up this, right? If you look at the instruction, try to rotate everyone, okay, who's going to be the chairperson, who's going to be the secretary and whatnot. Okay, try to prepare this minutes of meeting and put it into your appendix, right? So after our lab session ends, completes in week 8, right? So week 9 and until the end, okay, your lab session will be allocated for your mini project, all right? So that you do have time to discuss all these and do the works during that 2 hours of lab session, right? And you need to include all these, okay, this page 7 of 7 just for the briefing. So if you are putting this into your appendix, so you do not need to include this page, right? You can delete this, right? So here, signed by the secretary, checked by the chairperson, and approved by me. Okay, so after you have done any minutes of meeting, right? You can WhatsApp me for me to endorse, and then I'll give it back to you. Then you put it into your appendix, right? So please avoid to have any minutes of meeting that has not been endorsed, okay, by either me, chairperson, or by the secretary. Okay, is that clear?
Yes.
I think I need to finish after this. Okay, my head's becoming so much more heavier. Right. So you can go through this DOSH initial error. Okay, I'll just like to touch on this a bit. Okay, what is basically the initial error, right? So this where initial error is for you to assess whether you do require any advanced error at that particular workplace. So how do you do this? So normally by three methods. So the first one is screening. Screening means that the company asks you, okay, if you look into the DOSH website, you can see a list of names of ergonomic risk assessor, okay, penilai risiko ergonomik, right, in the DOSH website. So normally the company will ask you, okay, can you do some assessment at our workplace? We do have a lot of high rate of accidents here, so we don't know what to do, right? So you can either do some screening, okay, from the employees. Okay, you go see the workers, ask them, okay, give them some questionnaire, whatnot, ask them what's the problem, okay, how's the work and whatnot. Or you can do a walkthrough. Okay, you can go throughout the compound and do some observation to see, oh, right, rupanya the lighting is not that good, right? Or the workstation have several levels or several racking, and that the workers need to twist their body and whatnot that cause backache and whatnot. Right? Or you can review the records from the HR departments, complaints, MCs from the workers. So from this, you decide to conduct an ergonomic risk assessment. So if you do find anything that requires you to conduct initial error, so this is where you will conduct this initial error. Okay, if that's after doing the screening, you see that, oh, I think everything's okay. It's only that the workers are the salary is too low, so that demotivated the workers. So this is where they don't come to work. So it doesn't relate with ergonomics. So you just tell the company, so you do not require any further assessment. So it's only about the salary. So this talking about risk assessment of ergonomics. The second one, okay, maybe you receive complaints, related to MSDs, from workers, maybe from the workers personally, maybe from your colleagues or whatnot, or maybe from DOSH or KESO, asking you, can you assess this company? Maybe most of the workers are complaining a lot. They are claiming a lot of having a back pain and on. Can you assess this company? I think we need to do something about this company. So you get complaints related to MSDs or any injuries of ergonomics. So this is where you conduct the initial error. Right. And the third one is whereby you are being requested to do the initial error, requested from any OHD, occupational health doctor, okay, or by the authorities, okay, maybe by DOSH just now, right, and many others, okay. So by this you conduct the initial error. So what do you do? What do you do in initial error? You assess this, page 33, right? You assess all this. Okay, you assess all these elements. And then from this, okay, you look at, and what do you assess? Do you assess the whole company?
No, only the workplace.
Yes, only one workstation. If you have 5 workstations, so you'll be having five initial error forms. Okay, so it depends on how many workstations. So after you assess those workstations, you can see, so these are how to assess. You can see all these checklists. Okay, you can further read the process for initial error, right? So you can see all this posture and whatnot. Okay, and then by doing all these assessments, this is where you fill up this form here. Okay, and then from this form here, you can identify, does that particular workstation require any initial advanced error or not. Okay, so going back to the flow chart here. Okay, so if after producing the initial error, okay, you prepare the assessment report. This is where you conclude whether it requires any advanced error or not. Okay, so if you think that from the assessment, it says that it doesn't need any advanced error. So what do? You just prepare the final report for the company. Okay, and then you can tell the company what is the risk and maybe what can the company do, right, to rectify the problem, and then you end the assessment. But if it requires any advanced error, so this is where you're going to conduct an advanced error using proper ergonomic assessment tools, proper ergonomic assessment tools, okay, like Rula, Reba, Okra, and whatnot. So we looked at into the ergonomic risk assessment in the following lecture, okay, and then you prepare the report. So in this report, basically you will include what are the interventions, okay, and then you show it to the companies, the stakeholder, and then you tell the risk, you explain all the risk and all the intervention, and then you end your assessment, right? What if what if you found that one workstation doesn't require any ergonomic advanced error? It doesn't require any advanced error, but from your observation, you could clearly see that the workers is at danger. So do you need to wait to do the advanced error? Oh, sorry. What if that particular workstation, right, requires an advanced error? Okay, it requires an advanced error, but from your observation, direct observation, you can clearly see that the workers is at high risk, is in danger. If you don't do something, this worker will be injured or maybe fatal accident. So do you need to wait to conduct the advanced error before you can come up with the intervention? No. You can simply suggest directly, although advanced error has not been conducted yet, but you can directly suggest, saying that, oh, you need to close this, you need to have a guard here, you need to have a rail here, you need to have a guard rail here. Okay, because to wait to do the advanced error is not conducted on the same day. You need some meetings, okay, you need some documentations before it is being conducted. So maybe it will take a few weeks. So within a few weeks, maybe that person is already dead. Right? So if it is very critical, it is very urgent, although it requires an advanced error, you do not need to wait for the advanced error to be conducted, but you can directly suggest what are the interventions or countermeasure to overcome that particular risk. Okay. So this is your mini project. So what you need to do, okay, try to digest this guideline. Okay, look back into the mini project guideline here, discuss within your group members which tasks you would like to take. And the most important thing, wait, my head's becoming much more heavier. The important thing is which or where would you like to conduct the initial era, okay, at what company or what compound, okay? So you need to look at it because this is the information is from the internet, so you need to decide which compound, okay? And then the final one, you need to include this coursework contribution peer assessment. This is where you assess yourself and also your peers, we call it peer assessment, right? So you fill up this and this should be submitted, okay, to me, okay. I'll give you what do you call that? I'll give you a link, a Google link at the end of the weeks, okay, for you to submit this. Okay, before this should be submitted by hand, okay, face to face. So you are forbidden to submit it in a group. You need to submit it individually. But because of this ODL, it is online. So I'll just give you a link, okay, for you to submit it into the link, okay, so that I can assess. This is for me to assess if you do have any problems between your colleagues of your group members. So this is where I do assess, okay, that will somehow affect your marks, right? So if you would like to put any comments here and about your colleagues or whatnot, okay, you can put it into you can just write it down here, okay, or an extra attachment, right? But please do assess or do conduct a peer assessment professionally with regards to your work, okay, to your mini project, okay, not because of your colleague doesn't pay the house rent, okay, ataupun berebut girlfriend ke, so you bagi dia you give him or her low marks here, okay, low marks here, right? Is that clear?
Clear.
Yes.
Okay, good. Right, so I think that's all for the briefing. Okay, I think I really need to stop, okay, the presentation now. Right, so you can go through the guidelines. Okay, you can go through the requirements. After this, you can download it from the files. Okay, and then you can start to plan. Okay, when should you submit the mini project? So it is basically on week 15 after your we call that after your study week lah. Okay, that includes your mini project presentation. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, right, so we don't have any questions. Well, we are very lack of participants today. There's about 5 more students not here. I'm not sure why. Okay, so please ask them to personally WhatsApp me for their excuses. So I think if you don't have anything else, okay, so this is our last session before we see you again in the week 7 of the test week. So next week will be your midterm break and also Hari Raya. So I would like to take this opportunity to wish all of you Selamat Hari Raya Idul Fitri, Maaf Zahir Batin. I would like to apologize for any misconduct of the sessions throughout this 6 week, right? And I hope to see you again in good health and in one piece after the break, okay? So that we can continue the remaining half semesters. So let's recite Tasbih Kafarah and Suratul As to wrap up this session. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So by that, please stay safe. Okay, it is PKP. I'm celebrating Hari Raya the first time in my own home here, although my parents are in KL, so we cannot travel interstate or inter-district. So what to do? Just follow the SOP, right? Hopefully we could help our nation to fight this pandemic together. So by that, I would like to wish you Selamat Hari again. Please take care of yourself during this Idul Fitri. Jangan main menculuk banyak sangat. Right? So see you again, inshallah, in the 7th week. So by that, I would like to wrap up this session by Assalamualaikum and have a nice evening. Selamat berbuka. Thank you very much.
Jesus, Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Selamat Hari Raya, sir.
Right, Semaya, thank you very much.